All right, let's talk about Illumina. They are, without a doubt, the heavyweight champion of gene sequencing. I mean, they are the name in the space. But here's the thing. Lately, this giant seems to be stuck. It's like they're on a treadmill, running as hard as they can, but they're just not going anywhere. So we're going to figure out why.
And this right here is the heart of the mystery we're unpacking today. Get this. In 2025, Illumina spent almost $1 billion on R&D, a truly staggering amount of money. And what did they get for it? Well, their core revenue went from $4.33 billion to $4.34 billion. That's not growth. That's basically a rounding error. So what on earth is going on?
Okay, so before we get into the problems, you've really got to appreciate the genius of their business model. For years, Illumina has run one of the most effective, most profitable playbooks in the entire industry. It's a fortress built on a simple but incredibly powerful idea.
Now, take a look at where their money actually comes from. You'd think it's from selling those big, expensive sequencing machines, right? Nope. That's only about 11% of their revenue. The real engine, the cash cow, is that massive 74% slice right there. Consumables. We're talking about the chemical kits and reagents that labs have to buy from them, again and again, just to make the machines run.
This is the classic razor and blade model, perfectly executed. You sell the printer, that's the instrument, at a decent price. Maybe you don't even make much money on it. Why? Because you've just locked that customer into buying your special high-margin ink, the consumables, for years and years to come. It is a beautiful, beautiful system for generating steady, predictable cash.
But you know, even the strongest fortress can start to show some cracks. And lately, the walls of Fortress Illumina have been under some serious stress. Let's look at the numbers and see where things are starting to crumble. The data really tells the whole story here. Sales of the ink, the consumables, yeah, they're still growing, but just barely, at 1.8%. What's way more concerning is the other side of that coin. Sales of the printers, the actual machines, are going down. They dropped almost 4%, and that's a huge problem, because when you stop selling new razors, you eventually stop getting new blade customers. This is a big flashing warning light for their entire model.
So what's causing all this? Well, it's kind of a perfect storm. You've got their customers, a lot of research labs, dealing with tighter budgets, so they're not buying big new equipment. Then you've got the global economy doing its thing, tariffs, inflation, squeezing everybody. And on top of all that, you have the big one, geopolitics.
The single biggest blow came from the Greater China region, which was supposed to be a massive growth market for them. Instead, revenue there dropped by $65 million. And this wasn't just a slow sales quarter. This was something much more specific and way more serious.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is a direct quote from their own financial filing. Being put on this unreliable entities list created a huge cloud of uncertainty, and it directly hammered their ability to do business there. So the key takeaway here is this isn't just a market downturn, it's a political problem.
So what do you do when you're a tech giant, your growth is flatlined, and you're facing all these headwinds? Well, if you're Illumina, the answer is simple. You try to innovate your way out of the trap. You spend. And the scale of this bet, it's absolutely mind-boggling.
$967 million. That's what they spent on R&D in 2025. Just let that number sit there for a second. It's an almost insane amount of cash to pour into future tech, especially when your revenue is completely flat. I mean, to put that number in perspective for you, you could have paid for the entire NASA mission that built and landed the Perseverance rover on Mars, and you could have done it 3.5 times. This isn't just investing in the future, it's a massive gamble that pure technological brute force can solve a very complex business problem. So where is all that cash going? Well, a huge part of the strategy is launching brand new machines, like this MeSeq i100 series. The logic is simple and sound. You invent a new, better razor so you can create a brand new, high-margin stream of proprietary blades that only works with that razor. They're trying to reboot their entire ecosystem.
So here's the game plan in a nutshell. Step 1, innovate like crazy to drive those future consumable sales. Step 2, expand your turf. Move into new areas like multi-omics by buying up other companies. And Step 3, while you're spending all that money, you tighten the belt everywhere else with a $100 million cost-cutting plan. It's a three-pronged attack to try and get that growth engine started again.
All right, so we've seen the fortress they built, we've seen the cracks in the walls, and we've seen the massive spending spree to fix it. The big question for any analyst, for any investor is, what's the real story here? Is the fortress still solid, or is it starting to look more like a facade?
You can really argue this compellingly from both sides. The bulls will tell you, look, that recurring revenue from consumables is a cash machine. It's a fortress. And with all that R&D, they'll always be number one. But the bears will come back and say, the main market is full. And you can't invent a new machine to solve a geopolitical problem in China. That just leaves the door open for hungrier competitors.
You know, even the outside auditors kind of see the strength in that core model. This comment right here is pretty telling. It basically says, yeah, machine sales are struggling, but that consumables business, it's incredibly stable. That's a huge testament to just how powerful that razor and blade system really is.
And that really brings us to the final, critical, billion-dollar question. Illumina absolutely perfected the razor and blade model, but that whole model depends on selling more razors to more people. So what do you do when you reach the point where pretty much everyone who needs a razor already has one? That right there is the puzzle that will define Illumina's entire future.
Now, this was really just scratching the surface. If you want the full deep dive on Illumina's financials, their strategy, and the competitive landscape, you can get the complete detailed report from HDIN Research. Just head over to their website or shoot them an email. Thanks for tuning in.